We're going to do some fraction stuff today. First one, starting out with adding fractions. We did adding and subtracting fractions that already had a common denominator. But what happens when you don't have a common denominator? If you don't have a common denominator, you have to make it so you do have a common denominator so that you're adding like terms. Yesterday we did that least common multiple thing. And so your common denominator is your least common multiple. We said here if I have 10 and 4, if I think about my multiples of 10, first is 10, 4 doesn't go into 10, the next multiple is 20, 4 goes into 20, so 20 is going to be my common denominator. I'm going to make equivalent fractions that have denominators of 20. We did equivalent fractions yesterday. We said, okay, 10 divides into 20 2 times. So I have to take 2 times that numerator. 2 times 9, going to give me 18. So 9/10 is the same thing as 18/20. 4 divides into 20 5 times. 3 times 5, going to give me 15. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my numerators. If you do 18 plus 15, you get 33. So I'm going to get 33/20. Now when it tells me to write my answer as a fraction in simplest form, they want you to leave it as a fraction. They don't want you to change it to the mixed number. They just want to make sure you can't reduce it. I don't have any common factors where I could reduce that down any lower. I can't divide them both by 2 or 3 or whatever it might be. So I'm just going to leave it as 33/20. The problem with using your calculator is your calculator thinks you want mixed numbers. So we're going to practice doing some fractions so that you can check to make sure you're doing them right with your calculator. So if you grab your calculator.
I get that now. I was doing some practice on there. And it kept telling me I had the wrong answer. And I'm like, what? Because I was doing the mixed number thing.
And some of them it will take it either way, but the farther you get into algebra, the less likely you're ever going to use a mixed number. So we want to get used to not doing it.
Right now.
You can't get that open. Get that opened up. We need to use that thing.
Oh, right.
Do I have a calculator thrown in my bag? So on the Casio calculator, the fraction button is the one right here on, if I'm having it facing this way, my right hand side, that has the ABC on it. So to enter in my fraction 9/10, I'm going to do 9, I'm going to hit that ABC button, and then the tenths. So it sort of looks like this. 9 has a little thing like that, 9/10. I'm going to do 9/10 plus 3/4, so plus 3 fraction 4. When you hit equals on your calculator, it's going to show you this. 1 and 13/20. Everybody getting that?
No, I'm not already getting that fraction thing.
The fraction is that ABC button.
Oh, this one.
That one there, right? Press that. There you go.
Fraction.
Tenths plus 3 fraction 4ths equals. So your calculator's mode, yep, 1 and 13/20. It's the mixed number. If I want to change on my calculator from the mixed number to the improper fraction, I'm going to hit the shift button, which is way up here on the top corner, and then the fraction button. So if you hit shift and that ABC button, then what shows up for the answer?
33/20.
33/20. So it's kind of a complicated process, but we get there. The calculator's default mode is to do the mixed number instead of the improper fraction. While we are on the calculator thing, because your calculator's probably set for scientific notation mode, and sometimes that messes up people, let's fix our calculators so we all have them in the same mode so that when we get our answers, we're hopefully getting them mostly how we want to see them. There's a button up on the top next to the big one that says mode by it. We're going to hit that button 3 times. So mode, mode, mode. Your choices should say fix, psi, or norm. Norm's for normal. We want to be normal people. We're going to pick 3. And we're actually going to do normal 2. That way when your answers show up when we get into different things, it doesn't pop it into scientific notation or some other mode we don't want to have it look at, or it doesn't round them off. So we should now be good that we all get that same thing. All right, we did that. Let's go ahead and go back to our fractions here. So, we want to add 5/9 and 5/6. First thing we need to figure out is what is our common denominator?
I had one question. So if we have a fraction like this that can be broken down, can we figure that out on here too?
Your calculator will do it automatically.
Oh, okay.
But otherwise, say you happen to have 24/16 for fun. If I put that in my calculator, 24 fraction button 16ths. If you hit equals, it gives you the mixed number, 1.5, right? Getting that? Then you would hit shift and the fraction button, and it's going to say, oh, that's going to be 3/2. Because this was divisible by 8, this was divisible by 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3, 16 divided by 8 is 2. So if it's an improper fraction where the calculator gives you the mixed number, if it's a proper fraction, it just gives you the right answer. But otherwise, you've got to change it from the mixed number into the improper fraction. Alrighty. So, 5/9 plus 5/6. Common denominator. What would be my common denominator? 18, right? 9 divides into 18, and 6 divides into 18. By the way, if you're stuck and you can't figure out the least common denominator, you can always find a common one by multiplying these two numbers together. Most of the time it's bigger than what you need, but if you're stuck and you just absolutely can't figure out one, multiply your denominators together and you'll probably end up reducing at the end, but it should work out okay. There's Rose.
Sorry.
Making our equivalent fractions then. 9 divides into 18. 2 times the 5 on top is 10. 6 goes into 18. 3 times the 5 on top, 15. So now we're going to add 10 plus 15, 25 18ths. Now if you're really looking at that and you weren't sure, does that reduce down or not? Again, we do 25 fraction 18. The calculator is going to give you a mixed number because it's an improper fraction. Shift and the fraction button. Oh, yep, it stayed 25 18ths. I can't do anything with it. Subtracting, same thing, I have to find a common denominator. This time I'm taking 7/8 minus 7/12. So I'm trying to think of my least common multiple if I have an 8 and a 12.
24.
24, exactly. So 8 divides into 24. 3 times 7, 21. 12 divides into 24. 2 times 7, 14. So 21 minus 14 is 7. 7/24. And again, on this one, we end up where we can't simplify it, so that's going to be my answer.